I'm Margaret in Windsor, and this is Saturday. And anyway, I, I was kidnapped. I'll say this again if someone hasn't watched my YouTube and Facebook before. I was kidnapped in 41 at age 2 and brought to Moulton, Alabama, given the name of a twin. Both twins, Peggy and Carl Dempsey, had been killed by their mother, and the family covered it up all the years till I did a medical malpractice book in 76 and was almost killed on April Fool Day of 80 because of the book. And who was in it? Well, it was because of who I am, my kidnapping. I wondered how I made it through all of it, if you call it making it. They finally, after all of that, Lana, the mother of the twins that hated my guts, she was a psychopath, and made my life a living hell. Till anyway, finally they couldn't ignore it anymore. She died, and of course they don't think they did anything wrong, you know. So where am I going with this? I have to use the name Peggy and Dempsey Childers now. Still, I'm kept penniless and homeless, and I have put video up since April on Facebook every day. I have put April 2012, August 2013. I went up on YouTube, and I have actually put 4, 5, 6, a number almost every day since then. I put it up about the mind control murders I wrote about, and about Larry Flint being shot by a program shooter, about Tesla files being stolen, and where you could cure an illness or create one. And part of that I found out the other day is a good way to put it. I don't know all the ways. There's something about imagining. But this lady was sitting there talking to me, and she mentioned something about the flu virus, and that they fooled something about the egg. I didn't understand how they created the flu virus, but it fooled your body into thinking you had already had the flu. So it's akin a little bit to this, how you create an illness or cure it. But they were into programming way back then. King Ferdinand was shot by a program shooter, and his wife Sophie. And I just watched something on TV that just kills me and breaks my heart, because they come on in a story mentioning Anastasia, and that she wasn't really Anastasia. Yes, she was. She was up here in Charlottesville, and I went through Charlottesville. I had been out Larry Flint's. He helped me in a campaign in 83 to replace Larry McDonald, Congressman Doctor, who I had written about in the book, and he was part of trying to have me killed. I usually put up where Larry Flint did an endorsement, and it was good, and it tells a few things in the endorsement. But anyway, I was going through Charlottesville and driving the car May the 4th or 6th. It was on a Sunday of 84 when she was murdered. They have switched and changed records on it, and the caretaker that lived with them for 18 years, somebody had Xerox court documents about this high from Charlottesville court. Somebody did, and told him where I was going to be and to give them to me. Well, he had just gotten out of state prison. He knew all about Anna and Professor Monahan, and there's a long story to what happened there to him. And I'm not going to name any names anymore, because everything, whether you're knowing it or not, is really bad at the moment. Bad. It's been bad for me, but what's going on right now, anyway, where was I going with that I wanted to? I feel so bad because my hearing, I've been run from place to place, kept homeless. I've lost my hearing because of, anyway, I can't say what right at the moment, but I've had to live in motels most of the time. I've had every law in the book broken against me. Uh, anyway, what I wanted to tell too, and I'm not exactly getting there, I guess, was I've told about this YouTube and Facebook. Come to find out, when I found out about my real name after the kidnapping, after finding out about it in late '83 and after the campaign, because Dr. Larry McDonald had helped in killing Larry Flint, the shooting. But you get into the program shootings and the deaths that have been done, because mind control is invisible, it's hard to prove. So the ones I've told about, you can prove. They're done in patterns. Now, they're talking about the Parkland shootings, and they're talking about the one shooter, which, by the way, shocked me. The resource, he was a deputy with Broward County Sheriff's Department. Sheriff's name is Scott Israel. I'm not going to try to show you the patterns because they're all in this one. And it should be the end, but the way it's going, it looks like the press is going to take down the NRA. Nobody has helped me. They've kept me penniless and done everything sick in the book. I don't know where my sons Mark and Scott are. I haven't known. We were separated, and people have called me liars in the face of having every evidence. And yet these students, that I'm sure their heart's in the right place, but they're going about it the wrong way. Nobody tried to help me that way to get out and try to go to D.C. or they didn't get together and do it in March or anything. I mean, everybody had so if I'm babbling, to hell with it. I've got the right to. It's a wonder I'm sitting here. I have gone to all the TV stations in Atlanta when this was happening, when Flint was shot. But with all of it, my husband went. I did not know about Atlanta Journal being run by the Hearst. Patty Hearst was kidnapped. Didn't know that the Hearst Atlanta Journal I was going to actually helped in my kidnapping. It was a mafia, a global takedown of my father, the Illuminati, Rockefellers, the Jews, Rothschilds, and Bilderbergers that control your banking, and Roosevelt, whose sons continued to help with the takedown of my father, Edward VIII, who was married to Claudia Ruth O'Keefe, Windsor. She was Queen of England in '36. He didn't abdicate to Mary Wallace. She married a double. They took my father down with lies and character assassination. They made my Uncle George VI, he's Elizabeth's father, and they're all illegal. Elizabeth, all of them know about me being kidnapped, about the addendum that said that I would inherit. I guess I thought my father wasn't going to. He was 45 and my mom 40. Anyway, the day I was born, it was legal. I am Queen Victoria II, and born in '39, kidnapped in '41. So Elizabeth has always known this, and I watched the horrible, just now it comes up on Google. It's news releases about Elizabeth and her family and all this, and William and Kate and all this. Their every move. And they keep bringing my innocent father, who did the right thing and stood up to the mafia, the Bilderbergers and all of them, and said, no, I won't take your orders. A decent man is still being slandered. And me, if they ever show what they've done to me and my children here, Mark and Scott, it is so hideous. You have to show it. And they control the media. The Illuminati, Rockefellers do. That kidnapped me and took down my dad. They're your global government sitting up there. They control the United Nations. So back to this. I have gone not just in Atlanta. I went in Huntsville and I was almost killed. I worked for the district attorney Simpson while while I lived at Warren House. Warren House is in the Warren Commission that covered up JFK's shooting by a program shooter, by the way. And Simpson, that I worked for, was a clue to my identity. I found out the next year after the campaign to my identity because my father was supposed to marry Wallace Warfield Simpson, a lie, and become the Duke and Duchess of Windsor. He died in 1972. My father and mother were still alive in 60, well, October the 20th of, I can't even, 66, I guess. 86, I'm sorry. And now then, what has, I'm sitting here, I'm sick I can't be around fumes. I have an autoimmune disorder, and that's what has been going on. I'm not going to get into that again right here. I'm watching TV, CNN, and believe me, CNN had started when I was in Atlanta. I actually sit there after almost being killed, every law in the book. I sit there and went right up to their place. I think it's Roswell Road, where Roswell Road goes into Atlanta. And it's almost almost in Atlanta. And I went to them. I had documents over and over to all of them. My husband did. He went to D.C. to Ralph Nader and Dr. Wolf, who handled his part of his medical and all that. Nobody would touch any of this. I even told have subliminal, well, it's not subliminal really. It's mind control, which has nothing to do with mental illness. You have to stop the programming and the mind control. You don't put them in a mental hospital and feed them psychotic drugs. That is the most ludicrous thing that anybody could ever do. So where have your doctors been in all this? Your mental health, and where's everyone? Your media sure the friggin' didn't tell it. Now, I'm sitting here listening to CNN. Sorry sots. And they're talking about this Scott, the resource officer that didn't go in. He's supposed to go in blazing and taking out this young man who's programmed. He's as much a victim as any of them. The rest of them are dead, which is very sad. Nobody cared about my kids, by God. They've told me to my face they didn't want to hear it. Now then, they're gun-ho for the children. These students, they have the right heart, but they're in the wrong category. Mental health has been ruined where they're going with it, and it's mind control you have to address in programming. So I'm listening to them, and they're talking about the FBI. Suddenly the press is all over this. You realize that I come into Roanoke, not just Roanoke, in Lynchburg, in Charlottesville, over the years since 86 or before. I went to D.C., spent the little bit of money I had. I went into Congress. I went to Ronald Reagan when he was in president. I took a copy of my book, A Letter from the FBI. And boy, you don't want to know what happened to me when I came out of there and tried to get back to Atlanta walking, what was done to me. So here is something you never hear. Now they're talking the press, this good old press up here, and they're condemning the FBI for overlooking this letter and this phone call that this kid, Cruz, was dangerous and all this. Well, he was programmed. Why not tell the truth? But these friggin' press reporters have covered up all of this. I didn't go 1 minute out of the day. I have been doing the videos in Facebook. I have been Xerox, and I have personally gone to the media here, D.C., New York, Huntsville, Atlanta, you name it. Do you realize if the truth is ever told how they're going to look finally? But they control the press. They're not going to do it. They're not going to tell the truth. You're going to go on, and the way it's going, your guns are going to be taken away, which has nothing to do with this. They can program a bunch of students to bring knives one day and kill each other with knives. You can do the sheriff himself. and have him go in and kill someone. You can, it's not the guns. I've said it. You can imagine. I've put all this up. And I guess that's enough. It's just so horrible to know that these people I have emailed the press, much less using the little bit of money I have to Xerox, and they're going to complain about the FBI missed this phone call on this young fella. The press is together on this. Wake up.